Ladies and gentlemen, as always, we love rewarding you for watching or listening to our broadcasts. We want to give you your very own Kingdom Report mug. All you have to do to win your own mug is head on over to the Kingdom Report YouTube channel, and underneath this very video, after the live video posts, you are able to leave the comment with the phrase that pays to enter yourself in to win your very own Kingdom Report mug. Festival of Holidays is the phrase that pays this week. Festival of Holidays is what you need to leave underneath this very video between now and Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time. If you enter yourself to win, we'll choose somebody at random and let them know that they're the winner, and we'll get you your very own Kingdom Report mug. Once again, Festival of Holidays is the phrase that pays this week. And don't you go anywhere. Kingdom Report Live starts right now. Ladies and gentlemen, dreamers of all ages, our long nightmare is over. Disney CEO Bob Chapek is gone.
Woo! Let's go!
Yes!
My hat.
I don't know about you,
My hat fell off.
but I'd like to welcome you to Kingdom Report Live.
Let's go! It's a beautiful day.
Hit that intro.
come to this happy place, welcome.
Kingdom Report live time. Welcome to it, ladies and gentlemen, in one of the most historic weeks in Disney history. Biggest news coming out of the week, of course, Bob Chapek stepping down as Disney CEO, Bob Iger returning as Disney CEO. Absolutely unbelievable, shocking to the business world, shocking to Disney fans as well. And here we are at the other end of the very historic week. We did cover for you on Disney News Talk Live, within an hour of that news breaking, a very in-depth talk in which you all came and joined us, for the most part sharing your thoughts, your opinions, exactly how you were feeling when it came to this monumental news. Today, we are talking all about the fall of Bob Chapek and the rise again of Bob Iger. With me today to talk about it, of course, theme park analyst Tyler Crouch, travel agent Katrina Manzone,
Hello.
and reporter Garrett Hassel. Hey, everybody.
Hey, everyone.
Hi, look at this guy.
I never got a hat. I didn't get any.
It got lost in the mail. We sent
Oh,
one to you.
no.
I don't know what happened.
This always happens around Thanksgiving and the holidays. It's
Yeah.
The
okay.
worst.
I'll let it. I'll celebrate privately.
Oh, wow.
You do that.
You're
I
always
do.
welcome.
I do my own special celebration. No, it's fine.
I'm sure a lot of celebrating has happened all week, as no doubt the news continues to be a seismic event across multiple platforms and around the
wild.
business community. The world is shooketh, as the kids like to say, and no doubt you are looking forward to hearing all about what's been happening since Sunday night when the news broke. Well, we're here for you, and we are ready to dive in. We've recapped some of the biggest reports from the week and all the stories you need to be aware of coming out of this huge news. It is time for the Disney News Review. Disney News Review time, taking a look at some of the biggest stories of the week. And of course, there is no bigger story than the fall of Bob Chapek, the rising again of Bob Iger to the position of Disney CEO. He has risen indeed. He has risen indeed. In fact, TechCrunch has reported that Bob Iger has returned as the head of the company as Bob Chapek has stepped down from the CEO post. The company said that he will serve as the CEO for 2 years. Quote, "We thank Bob Chapek for his service to Disney over his long career, including navigating the company through the unprecedented challenges of the pandemic. The board has concluded that as Disney embarks on an incredibly complex period of industry transformation, Bob Iger is uniquely situated to lead the company through this pivotal period," Chairman of the Board of Directors Susan Arnold said in a letter. The company said that there is no change in the board, and Arnold will continue to serve as chairperson. Iger served as Disney CEO from 2005 to 2020 for 15 years before deciding to step down and hand over the reins to Chapek. Notably, Chapek signed a 3-year extension contract with the company in June. On his return, Iger said that he was optimistic about Disney's future and was thrilled to return to the company. Chapek's 11-month tenure, well, I think that's incorrect. I think 11 months of Iger being away hadn't been great for the company, but I assume Chapek without Iger for 11 months had not been great for the company, nor before that, as its stock value has dropped by more than 40% at the time of writing. The company registered a revenue of $20.2 billion in Q3 2022 and missed analyst expectations by nearly $1 billion. At that time, Disney CFO Christine McCarthy said that the entertainment company aims to achieve profitability by fiscal year 2024. And in a new report from the New York Times, Bob Iger reportedly spoke out to different colleagues regarding Bob Chapek and the Walt Disney Company while he was CEO, even going as far as saying Disney was, quote, losing its soul with Chapek in as CEO. Tyler, your thoughts on Bob Iger coming out of retirement to replace Bob Chapek?
I mean, it's kind of wild, right? I mean, I don't think that anybody ever really expected this. Now, I wasn't thinking that Bob Iger was going to be done in the business world or, I mean, there's a lot of talk about him trying to be president or whatever, what have you. But I don't think I ever expected him to come back to Disney like this. Well, definitely not like this, but just kind of Disney at all. But I mean, it just goes to show you he must have really had some thoughts about how Chapek was just not cutting it. And let's be honest, I mean, I think being CEO of Disney has got to be one of his proudest business achievements. And he is feeling like everything he's done has been thrown away. So he just wanted to come back and do some patchwork on the old ship. And man, it's just... It's almost like a reality show or something, though, in the way that this is happening, because it's just I never would have expected just like one day Chapek is here, the next day he's out, and like apparently Chapek just found out about it too, like right before it happened. So incredible that Iger's back. I'm super happy. A lot of the people that watch this show, wanted me to be CEO of Disney.
That's
and
right.
You know what? I'm gonna bow out. I'm gonna let Iger take the reins. Maybe in a couple
Very
years when he's
humble of
done.
you.
Sorry, Garrett, go ahead.
Very, very humble of you.
Oh,
Very
thank
humble.
you. I try to stay humble, but a couple years from now, maybe I'll be back in the running. We'll see. So
Wow. So
Yeah.
suspending his campaign, breaking news, Tyler Crouch no longer in the running for CEO of Disney next. I know Bob Iger is looking for somebody to replace him within 2 years.
Well, you got to be respectful of Daddy Iger, and I just, the man, he's done a lot for the company, and I want to see what he's going to do to really buck it up, bring it back to its magic roots.
It's a big deal, that's for sure. Garrett, let's jump out to you. Where were
Yeah.
you when you heard the news, and did you believe it at first?
So the news came out, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time around, and I was working on some homework, and then Ariel's dad came to me and said, "Guess what just popped up on the news?" I'm like, "What? Like, does that have to do with like college football?" He's like, "No, Disney." I'm like, "Chapek's gone," and he's like, "Yep." And I was like, "What?" And I fireworks went off in my head. It was the celebration you have only a few times in your lifetime, such as when your child is born, when you get married. This is the equivalent of that. Chapek going away and Iger coming back. It was euphoric, and I was so ecstatic that the next day I bought Masterclass so I could watch Bob Iger's Masterclass.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
he's making money already.
Like Iger, I've read his book twice, and every time he appears on a news special or something like that, I have to watch just because he's so charming and energetic, and just he's a great leader, especially when compared to Chapek. But when I heard the news, I was so happy, and I was like, this is Christmas come early. This is really something special that the world needs to heal, and I think the world is healing.
Not to oversell it in the slightest.
Yeah.
Well,
But it was a great way to start your week. Go back on Monday to work, and the sky's bluer. The air is cleaner.
grass is
Birds
greener.
are singing.
Right.
Yeah, it was like the opening scene of Fantasia, just like pure magic.
Goes to show you just sort of the trauma that Disney fans were feeling under the reign of Bob Chapek, and certainly the welcome news that at least a more pleasant and perhaps savvy individual was back in the leadership position. We're going to move on over to Katrina now. Did you ever think something like this could happen, number one, especially after Chapek's contract was renewed earlier this year? And I guess number two, What were you up to when the news came your direction?
Oh man. Well, one, no idea. My mind was blown for this. Like, I mean, who would have thought? You obviously are really, really bad to be renewed, and then they like yank it away, being like, "Nah, just kidding. You're not getting another 3 years. You crazy. You get out." And then two, I wanted to put my phone down. You know, just disconnect for a little while, you know.
Responsible.
Just
mature.
Sometimes we're always on our phones and I'm getting like arthritis because I'm always like ready to go. So I like decided to like disconnect, chill out, and then we were watching the new Santa Claus show and then next thing you know, I was like, "Oh, it's been like 2 hours. Let's, go on the phone." And then I have like all these text messages and everything. And I was like, "What happened?" And then obviously I was like going on Twitter and reading, and then like my mind was blown. You know what I mean? That's kind of crazy to like think about. It's always when I put my phone down, something bad happens. So never put my phone down ever again.
Oh, was this bad?
Disconnect. I don't now.
No,
Is this
it
a
was
bad
not
thing
bad.
to happen? Is that something bad happens when you put your
Well,
phone down?
I guess it's not bad. You're
It
right.
was
I
bad
guess
that you didn't know the news.
The news breaks. You know what I mean? Because it was bad that I wasn't the one that broke the news.
Right. That's correct.
Because he's running for CEO. He missed the call.
I
can
had
still get
a
it.
voicemail on
He's
my
got
phone
2
that was like,
years.
"Hey, call us back in 15 minutes. We'll make you CEO." I missed
He
it.
missed
I
it.
missed it.
Yeah,
but-
they had
Because
they
we
had to
disconnected.
they had to revert to Iger that way. What were you going to say, Garrett?
I was saying, like, there's still a chance, Tyler. 2 years. You just got to build it up. Like, you and Iger are close. You guys are besties.
Yeah, we are.
You're on each other's top 5 on MySpace, so
true.
there's a
Right.
chance for you. But I like to see this as this is a wedding present from the Walt Disney Company to both of you. Like, this is
Wow.
aside from Iger showing up himself. Like this is the gift.
Tremendous
Yeah.
gift.
Wow.
What a
It's
gift.
It is tremendous. Yeah. And
Well.
Thank you to the mouse. Thank you
Yeah.
for everything, making it all possible.
Our
Love it.
support, our support system. If everybody like writes letters to Disney saying Tyler needs to be CEO next, that'd be great.
Start training.
Yep.
Yeah.
Take him
I'm
under his
ready.
wing.
I'm ready to go.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
Wow.
put yourself through the calisthenics of it all. And,
Yeah. No, I'm
make sure
good to
you're-
go.
He doesn't even need to stretch. He's just running.
Yeah.
Put him in, coach. Put him in.
But again, I'm gonna give him he needs his 2 years. The man deserves it. I'm
Absolutely.
going to let him
Let him
enjoy it.
shine.
Yeah.
A lot of things need to be
Bright
corrected.
like a diamond.
That's for sure. And we did question all of you over on the YouTube community page at the Kingdom Report on YouTube and asked specifically, are you more or less optimistic about Disney's future with the sudden return of Bob Iger as CEO? Here's what you said. 4% of you said less optimistic. So very few in that camp.
Interesting.
74% of you said more optimistic.
Smart
And-
people.
And 22% of you said won't make a difference.
Wow.
That's an interesting group, and I'm seeing that group swell more and more, I think, as a disenfranchised segment of the Disney fan community continues to grow, a disenfranchised segment that continues to swell, unfortunately, and it's one that no doubt has been burned and no doubt has felt sort of left out in the cold over the last few years. I definitely think that number is we're going to wait and see number, which you do you. I completely understand. It has been a rough few years, that's for sure. And no doubt the sort of overarching realization here is that, and I know there are a lot of elements that have gone into it, that Bob Iger left this in the hands of Bob Chapek. Something to be considered. No doubt the board of directors play into that decision very heavily and went with Bob Chapek. In the end, it wasn't solely Iger's decision. However, it was something that he left in the lap of Bob Chapek. So now he's here to clean up the mess and, not to say anything about the man's leadership before that, but no doubt he has tried many a times to give the mantle, to pass the torch to various CEOs, and the board has passed, and they ended up somehow, after passing on several qualified and thus far more qualified individuals than Bob Chapek, they ended up on Bob Chapek. So a lot to dive into, though. Certainly more that we will be discussing. But interesting statistics, to say the least. Where do you land on Bob Iger returning as CEO. Where do you land on this happening so quickly and Bob Chapek not even realizing that it was going to occur on this past Sunday? We'd love to hear from you. Leave it in our comments. Another big story coming out of the Bob Chapek, Bob Iger saga and the Disney return to Iger era is that an executive coup may have led to the fall of Bob Chapek as Disney CEO. New York Post reports that discontent over Walt Disney's former CEO Bob Chapek has been festering among top executives, and the exec was described as tone-deaf in a recent conference call. Disney CFO Christine McCarthy told investors she lacked confidence in Chapek after a November 8th conference call about the company's worse-than-expected quarterly loss of $1.5 billion, linked to its Disney Plus streaming service, the Wall Street Journal reported. By Friday of the following week, Disney execs were seeing if Iger would return to his old job of 15 years in order to replace Chapek, the paper reported. Chairperson of Disney's board, Susan Arnold, called Iger up and asked if he'd consider coming back to run the Mouse House once again. People with inside knowledge told the Journal. Intense negotiations among parties unfolded over the weekend, and by Sunday night, the surprise announcement that Chapek had stepped down and Iger was reclaiming the helm hit the papers. Wall Street Journal also reported that, allegedly, Chapek was cooking the books when it came to streaming, as Disney was moving some shows that were supposed to be Disney Plus originals and air them first on other networks, including the Disney Channel, people familiar with the matter said. By doing so, the costs of production and marketing of the shows would be shifted away from the streaming service, making its financial performance look better, they said. And Ms. McCarthy, the CFO, was said to be concerned about this strategy. The company has lost more than $8.5 billion since Disney Plus launched and has posted bigger operating losses in each of the past 4 quarters. Tyler, there are rumors that the CFO was convinced that Chapek would soon be blaming her for the less than stellar financial results as of late. Is she a hero or an opportunist in this situation?
I think there's more room for middle ground here because, I'm not going to say she is the one and only true hero here. And I also don't think, did it help her out? Of course it did. But I also don't think she did it just for herself. We've said some things about her in the past and I, however you feel about those things, I just think that this was, the company was sinking in a different way, and now it's clear that she wasn't the only one that really wanted him out. It's on multiple levels that people were not having this guy, even down to the ground floor where you have like the cast members that never even work with Chapek technically, and they're all in the parks and everything. It's like he was like universally hated. And when you're universally hated, there's something to that. Like, so, I'm not going to say that she is a hero because obviously she didn't act on her own. I'm also, I don't know if I'd just say opportunist either, because she was probably doing what was right for the company. I think we all would agree that, like, despite what you think about Iger, I mean, the man led the company in a much better light. Just think about the charisma the guy had. Just think about how the cast members thought of him. Like, that's really an important thing to think about, because without those things, you see how much hatred there is. Like, Chapek had none of those things. He had no charisma. He did not care about he didn't seemingly care about the cast, like, and he didn't care about the storytelling. So, I think Chapek can only get out there so many times and put his foot in his mouth until the entire company just says, we got to get rid of this buffoon.
And it's a wonder that it took as long as it did, given how many missteps there were. And when that contract renewal happened earlier this year, I know we were all floored that They had an opportunity there to go a different direction, the board of directors, that is, and they didn't. Basically showing a vow of competence by renewing the contract that, yeah, no, of course, we're going in the right direction. Everybody was pulling their hair out, especially in the fan community. Like, are you kidding me? How much more needs to be done?
It was crazy.
To prove how bad this is.
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain point where, the board, I'm sure they really can't say disparaging things about Chapek if they don't have a clear idea of what's going to happen next. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can't be like, they can't just be like, oh yeah, we got to get this guy out of here, and oh crap, now what do we do? Like, now I think they had these quick conversations with Iger, and they realized, okay, this is our opportunity. We can get Iger back. We got
fail safe.
Yeah, exactly. So now they have another 2 years to find their next guy or lady, whoever that may be, and I think you just can't say bad things about Chapek until you have a backup, because that's just going to make the company look even weaker.
Sure. Yeah, it's definitely makes financial sense, and the due diligence though to renew a contract
for
that
3
time,
years at least, like maybe do like another year renewal until you finally find somebody. It kind of seems, I don't know.
Give yourself a window, but don't make it seem like, yeah, we're totally satisfied. This guy's great, when you didn't think so to begin with. And Christine McCarthy, the CFO, was a Bob Iger hire, but she has publicly said very disparaging things about Disney consumers, and we've covered that here. What faith do you have in her after allegedly pulling the string that unraveled Bob Chapek?
Oh, man. I mean, we've talked about it before. Like, I mean, just that one line, like, was it last year, I guess she said it? It just, like, blew my mind that, like, might as well just cut the portions of Disney parks foods because because people that go to Disney are overweight, so it'll help their waistlines,
Horrifying.
And I'm like, okay, maybe you shouldn't talk in public, because stick to the numbers. Don't say anything else. I'm sure she's really great at being a CFO. I really hope she's going to do great. I mean, there's rumors that like Chapek was trying to like throw her under the bus on all of this stuff. And so she's trying to like protect herself, which is great, because I feel like in a female in like a corporate society, you are going to be cut and you're always going to get bullied on. And so she was doing the best that she needed to do to like, trim the fat from the company,
Trim that fat.
Trim it. Bring someone else in, leaner and meaner. So I hope that she does well. She's been in like, the finance industry in the banking industry for years, like what, 2 decades or something like that, 20, 30 years. I forgot how long, but she's been in like a long time. And then she's been with Disney for 15 years. So she's done her best, but I feel like, hopefully she does better now that Iger's back, and without maybe Chapek trying to push her in the wrong direction of trying to, collect money in every single possible form, by trimming, but also like, trimming food portions, increasing prices on pretty much everything, you can think of. Like the food and wine festivals are just ridiculously priced now, and like the food isn't even that great because it's just pretty much like pasta, which is like 2 cents.
Yeah,
and they charge
decreasing the quality, right? Decreasing the quality of what's being offered is definitely what everybody's been experiencing here over the last few years, is that quality has declined to such a dramatic degree as prices have gone up. At some point, something has to give. And a recent back and forth that we all had regarding the value of Disney at the moment, and sort of how everybody has been feeling as though they have been had, I believe it was Tyler's words, that is now doing gangbusters over on TikTok. Everybody is sharing this and commenting on it because I think they feel the same way.
Yeah.
It has impacted folks. It has made them feel a certain way because they are too connected to this traumatic decline in the Disney experience. Everybody's feeling it across the board, not just Disney Parks fans, across the board. In all the business units, no matter how you're a consumer of Disney, people are feeling this. And Christine McCarthy, I think there might also be some merit, by the way, going back a little bit, if the rumors are true that she thought she was going to be blamed for the financial matters. And yeah, I mean, you would blame a CFO, I think. That would come eventually their way. But if she was going to be blamed, that also falls in to what we have seen from Bob Chapek before, and what insiders have reported from the Disney company over the course of time, that Chapek positioned himself multiple times over the years to eliminate people that were directly in front of him, that were standing in the way of him getting to the next level. Hollywood Reporter has done a tremendous series on all of that over the course of the years, of the last few years in particular, eliminating Tom Staggs from consideration, sort of sabotaging him over the course of time, according to the Hollywood Reporter. Also firing Peter Rice, the head of entertainment content for the Disney company most recently, who seemed to be the heir apparent to the CEO throne. He was a threat. Goodbye. So
what does he do?
Yeah,
you know
right?
what I mean? Like, this is like Dateline worthy to like create some kind of like crazy documentary of like what he does, and people to come out and say like the proof.
Yeah.
You know how crazy that would be?
He kicks him into that hole that was in 300, you know.
Oh, jeez.
Chapek plays his own Game of Thrones where he's like, whoever's on top, I'll wait my time. He's like Littlefinger. He's just biding his time until he is in the right position, and then, you know.
I
bad
feel
things
like he's
happen.
Spoiler
not
alert.
Littlefinger, but the other guy that he was trying to like coerce like Sansa to do Littlefinger, right?
Yeah, Littlefinger.
Yeah, Littlefinger. Yeah.
Yeah, Littlefinger.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. For some reason, I thought you were
That was
saying
a fun
Tyrion
circle.
Owned
Lannister.
by Disney, so we don't have to know it as well.
All right, you guys. I'm going to bed. I'm tired.
And then
You're
he
right. Yeah, Littlefinger. Yeah.
throws him in the
But
choky.
it's a Game of Thrones. You know, people just keep going, and Chapek's like, I just have to keep moving up slowly. I just have to bide my time, and I'll
Till he got
eventually
full of himself,
be up
and
at
look
the
what
top.
happened.
Mm-hmm.
He figured out a way and fell flat on his face in the process, that's for sure. We move along now. Bob Iger is returning with the mandate to present a successor for Disney's CEO within 2 years. The board of directors has asked that Bob Iger make sure there's a successor ready within 2 years' time so that the man can finally retire and be at peace after coming back yet again. With this mandate in mind, there are individuals within the company and outside the organization that might be tapped for a position like this. Certainly, Bob groomed the Chapek and got him to the level that he needed to be considered by the board, and Chapek was selected. And that, of course, is after several other people had been passed on for CEO. No doubt the Game of Thrones theory that Garrett has might just play into that, but Garrett, with 2 years to find the next chief executive officer of the biggest media company in the world, who do you suspect will be the draft pick?
So, we never know. It's always rumors here and there, but with 2 years, you know, that sounds very far away, but it goes by in the flash of an eye. So on the inside route, I think the number one draft pick currently is Josh D'Amaro, Daddy D'Amaro, as we like to call him. He is a cast member favorite. He is a guest favorite, and he just looks really good to the business world as well as to like the parks community. He's charming, he's outgoing, he's energetic. Yes, he makes decisions that people don't like, but he rarely gets blamed for that. Like, you know, when bad decisions happen to the park, they blame Chapek over him, even if he made the decisions. But regardless, from my friends that still work for the company and those even outside, you know, Josh is very attractive. He's charming. He's outgoing. He's sort of like a Bob Iger 2.0 in a way, where he's worked for Disney for years. He's worked in various facets, especially around the parks, which while this is an entertainment company, the parks play such a major role. So he's my number one pick. My number two pick would have to be Dana Walden. She's the chairman of Disney General Entertainment Content. And I threw her into the mix because Disney started off as an entertainment company focused around movies and then went into the park. So maybe this is the shot that Disney wants to throw a female CEO, the first female CEO of the Walt Disney Company, into the ring. And, you know, if the entertainment content grows and gets stronger, then, hey, it all will be good in the future, because the parks by themselves are great, but they need the movies and they need the IP to be successful in order to be integrated into the park. You can't have one without the other. It's very rare for, you know, something in the parks to influence entertainment. Like Pirates of the Caribbean and Haunted Mansion are two examples where that happened. But for the most part, every film, TV show, movie have influenced what happens in the park. So Dana Walden and Josh are my two top picks for who could be the successor. Alongside that, they could bring Tom Staggs back into the mix because, he was going to be, CEO after Bob Iger, but unfortunately he got the boot through some of Chapek's scheming, if those are true. But I would love for to keep it inside the company, because if you keep the culture strong, then know what, there will be success overall. Bringing an outsider in, it's a risky bet, but for right now, if Iger can straighten out the path and get everything working smoothly, then you keep it within the company, you keep that culture strong, and you get someone that the cast members as well as the guests, the ones who are paying money, to rally behind, then we should be good. But I'm excited. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'm sure we'll see as time goes on who's appearing more in the spotlight. Like Josh D'Amaro's naturally there, but Dana could pop up, or we could have someone else that we never expected, maybe another parks executive or someone else. But you never really know. Disney likes to keep things very close to the chest. But regardless, it's going to be exciting, and I'm just happy that Sir Robert Iger, because he did get knighted before the Queen's passing, that I hope that just something good happens. As long as Chapek doesn't come back, I think we're going to be good. I think we'll be in good hands.
I don't think we'll be seeing that happening anytime soon. And yeah, Josh D'Amaro, I think if he makes any move whatsoever, if we see him move to any other line of business, we'll know that that's the guy they're going with. He does need to still be more well-rounded, I think, just in terms of learning other business units, because he's been a parks guy through and through almost the entire time. So not to say that's a problem, but you need to be exposed to other business units, and they typically do that before somebody is named CEO. You go and lead other divisions and show you can do that too. So I think if we see any movement over the course of the next couple months of Josh D'Amaro, it'll be a bingo moment, and we'll know exactly who they are moving around the board. Question for you, Garrett. Knowing that Josh, and I know you mentioned oftentimes Chapek would be blamed for things regarding Disney parks over Josh, and Josh would somehow escape all the criticism. We've talked about that here before. So now Bob Iger's in control. If something bad happens in the parks moving forward, something very unpopular, who gets blamed?
I think if it happens recently, like how they've mentioned the recent price hikes and ticket price, it will at first fall on like, oh, that happened under Chapek's leadership. But
this has been months in the works. We'll hear that for a while, I bet. You're right.
Yeah, but I would think around maybe March or April, if bad things do happen, they could, like, the company is never going to try and point the finger. It's always from the outside. But they might say like, oh, this happened under the transition period, blah, blah, blah. But Bob Iger is, he's been in this business for 35 years and all his time with Disney. And he's humble and he's a good leader. He knows when to admit to mistakes and faults. So if something bad were to happen, he would probably say, that's on me. I made the wrong call. We have to move forward with this, rather than how Chapek would have handled it, which is, as Christine McCarthy said, pointing the finger at someone else. So if something bad does happen, I fully expect Iger to say, that's on me. Let's move on. Let's learn from this. Let's go forward, because you can't step back. In business, you have to keep going forward. Even if times are tough, you can't fall back or put the blame on someone else, because then that shows you don't have enough confidence in your own leadership and you don't have enough confidence in your team. So Bob Iger, he's humble, he's smart, he's creative, and he's clever. And even if something does go wrong, I'm sure it will turn around. Like he has such a great track record that I really don't think anything too terrible will happen. I'm sure there'll be some ups and downs, but I expect more positive than negative in 2 years with him than 11 months with Chapek in the grand scheme of things. I bet in Iger's next 11 months, he will accomplish more than Iger did during his very short tenure.
Interesting. All right. Thanks for that. And I'm seeing in our chat an individual named Quentin saying Abigail Disney for next CEO. This also got mentioned in the Disney News Talk live broadcast immediately following the breaking news of people suggesting Abigail Disney for next CEO. For those that don't know, Abigail Disney is an heir to the Disney fortune who has been very outspoken about pay inequality across the organization, which certainly that needs a spotlight across the board as No doubt the frontline cast members really don't get paid much of a living wage in those theme parks, and it's been a constant cause for concern over the course of, we'll say, about the last 20 years or so. Also something that perhaps Iger should pay attention to that did not necessarily get paid much attention to before, even though there were some strides here and there to try and elevate it. It still has been a bit of a problem, and we know even some cast members personally that live in their cars, which is a very sad thing to share, but that's a reality and something that they continue to experience on the ground. However, Abigail Disney, being Disney in name and being probably the closest person to the brand at the moment because she interacts with it so much, just my own opinion, that is the last person you want running this company.
Yeah.
She is she's an activist.
She's bad for business.
Yeah, she's an activist.
Yeah.
That's all she is, and that's not a bad thing to be, but she's not into solutions. She's not into running the business. She is not somebody who is interested in doing, a 16-hour a day, 20-hour a day job that Bob Iger has, admitted to doing at times. That's not something that she's interested in. She's interested in her own projects. I believe that her film company, her documentary film company, just filed for bankruptcy
They
too.
did.
Yeah. So, I mean, there you go. It's it's her own company and it's not doing so well. So we appreciate the suggestion, but that's something I continue to see repeated. And I think the excitement and the thrill over the idea of, a Disney involved again, that's what we need. Well, if it was Roy Disney, the nephew, who was actively involved, who understood the heart of the company and wasn't just out to yell and scream about people doing the wrong thing, that's different. That made sense, but I don't think she's interested in true solutions at the end of the day because she doesn't really offer any up, at least from all the things that we've seen. So at any rate, Katrina, I'd like to move on over to you. When it comes to a CEO, what sort of CEO needs to be looked for moving forward? What does Disney need?
Type of CEO. Well, they should have blue eyes.
Blue eyes.
What
eyes,
sign
a
what
blue
sign should
jacket. Look at that nice, little coiffed hair on the side.
Maybe wings.
Maybe some wings.
So they have
a
to have
beautiful
hair. They
Smile,
have to have
little
hair, then,
wink
Katrina?
here and there.
I think she's talking about me.
Oh. Bing, bing, bing.
Oh.
I'm referring to the wings that he uses to fly here every day.
That's right.
From the cloud that he lives on. That's our Tyler.
And me, like a
I
loser
wish.
stuck in traffic.
Yeah, I'm sitting in traffic every day. I wish I had some freaking wings.
Got that right.
But for a CEO, I feel like an ideal CEO needs to be compassionate, humble, and open-minded. Those are like my characteristics that I would see in a nice CEO because people, like what we've talked about multiple times now today, it's just like placing blame on other people is not what we need. What Garrett said about just a good CEO needs to move forward and then admit faults and then just keep going and then trying to find like a solution and not just, not the solution of, well, we're losing a lot of money, so let's just we're not losing a lot of money, but we want to gain more money, so let's just make things more expensive, or easy peasy, right? They need to find like another solution to like make quality and quantity kind of work together in like, I guess like, I don't know, symbiotic relationship.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like, again, like right now people are paying like a huge amount just to enjoy Disney in the parks, but they also have to pay all these other things to have a good day, right? Because Disney keeps telling us we need to buy all of these things to have a good day, but then you're stuck in a long line spending a lot of money. Yeah, and then they oversell
what
it.
Does it matter?
And are you having a good day? You know what I mean? Eating an $8 churro. Are you having a great day?
yeah.
$1 for dip, $1.50 for dip.
It comes with sprinkles now. So, $8
Sold.
worth it, right?
That's all you need.
But yeah, I just feel like there needs to be like another direction on how to create, like to actually like make the company more profitable than just trying to find like the weak way out.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of investment that needs to go into finding the next person. Let's hope Bob Iger is still up for the job and hasn't gotten retirement brain over the course of the last 11 months and relaxed too much. It sounds like he is still very much so invested in Disney as a brand, as we continue to hear from insiders that he felt the soul of the company was being sucked right out of it in the short time that he was away. So he saw it, we all felt it. It's nice to know that he witnessed it and felt it too. At any rate, we'd love to hear from you. the next CEO of Disney. What should that person look like? Is there anybody you have in mind? Let us know in the comments. We continue to hear rumors that Disney is on the chopping block, but potentially Disney could be purchased by another company. The biggest rumor, that maybe Apple is going to buy Disney. These continue to be stories that we have seen since the news broke that Bob Chapek has stepped down. Bob Iger has returned for a 2-year term in which to find a new CEO. And CBR reports that Disney recently reinstated Bob Iger as CEO in a move that has already seen positive changes for the company. One insider reportedly predicted Iger's return will bring far more substantial changes in the form of the Walt Disney Company's sale. As reported by The Wrap, an unnamed insider predicted Iger, who has agreed to stay on as CEO for the next 2 years, will look to conclude his tenure by selling the company to Apple, saying, quote, "This is the pinnacle deal for the ultimate deal maker." A former Disney executive concurred, stating, "I think he'd welcome it. He'd be the last CEO of Disney." The executive also noted that Disney and Apple have similar brand identities and would benefit from a merger. Iger himself called Apple co-founder Steve Jobs a close friend and has previously been quoted as stating that if not for Jobs' death in 2011, Disney and Apple likely would have merged, or at least the discussion would have been had. Tyler, in your mind, how likely is it we see Disney sold in the next 2 years?
Well, I would never say never. I don't think that it's an impossibility. I do, however, think the chances are like pretty much zero for the next 2 years. I can't imagine. Listen, Bob Iger, he comes back to his post because obviously he feels like the company has been wronged by Chapek, by whoever else has been at the helm right now. And he's not going to come back, work for these 2 years, try and build his legacy back up, and then just throw it away. Like, I just don't see that happening personally. I think he's going to want to make this company stronger. And I almost feel like, for me, it seems like he would be kind of giving up if he tried to sell the company in the next 2 years. Like, and I just don't think he wants that to be part of his legacy. I think he wants to show everybody, look, I built Disney up to what it was. This guy came in and tried to tear it down, and I made a mistake by appointing him, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to fix it. I just think it's going to make him look bad. Not look bad, but I just don't think it's a good look for him to sell it off to Apple immediately.
Yeah.
Now again, I think it could happen sometime in the future. Apple's huge. I mean, they, in a certain way, they're kind of the Disney of tech companies because they just have their idea of how everything should be, and they have their closed environment, and that's kind of how Disney operates too in a number of ways. They're all about like the experience, right? But yeah, next 2 years, can't imagine it. I don't see that happening.
Very good. Katrina, say Disney does get sold. What company out there would you want to see assume control?
Good. I can't see any company, to be honest. Like, definitely not Elon Musk. I know that.
Oh, please no.
But like, I mean, I guess Apple's like the only one that has like definitely not Meta. Like, I feel like Apple's maybe the only thing that could possibly maybe work. But in my mind, I'm like, I can't see Disney ever selling. Like, I feel like that's like a lazy way out. You know what I mean? I feel like Disney would acquire Apple or make some kind of like partnership and not just like, okay, it's yours now, bye, kind of thing. Like, I can't see Disney doing that for how long they've worked on all of these things and acquiring all of these like other channels and whatnot. Like, I just can't see them like actually doing that. I would feel like they would be buying Apple.
Sure.
And then making it a Disney product.
Yeah, I mean, one thing Iger's known for, it's those acquisitions. So
yeah, then they can make laptops like this without me putting a sticker on it.
Never. You can have your Bell decal. You can have your Beast decal. A whole series of laptop designs. That
just
will
picture it
go
now.
on. Yeah. Yes, please. Let's do that. Yeah, I completely agree. I think that at this point, Bob Iger would not be returning just to turn around and sell it. It's about legacy. It's about saving things. It's about restoring that magic.
I could see Chapek doing it.
Oh,
I could have seen him doing it in the next year or so, being like, well,
selling it, huh?
whoop, bye.
Entirely possible.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
That would
why
have been
these
the
talks have
ultimate
been
evil
happening.
move.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe so. What was that, Garrett?
I said Chapek selling off Disney would be like the ultimate like villain move. It's like, and for my final plan, I shall sell it off to the world. Like,
And I shall
That
be
is-
the last
that's
CEO.
yeah, that would be his Thanos snap, so to speak. But Disney has such a unique culture, and when Iger, acquired, Lucasfilm, Fox, and Pixar and ESPN, or that happened prior. But when he acquired Pixar, Steve Jobs was worried about like the culture shock, and Iger reassured him like, I will not change the culture. We will bring them together. We will not destroy what Pixar is. So I don't think it will get sold, because I think the culture at all these different companies is too different. Disney has created its own world, a Disney world, so to speak,
If you will.
and I don't think it will get sold. If it did, it'd be very sad. But I think Apple needs Disney for its distribution and production. Then Disney needs Apple for its technology. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I think a partnership like Katrina's idea much more attractive, but I don't think it will get sold off. Like that's Disney's already survived 2 hostile takeover attempts. I don't think they're going to do anything to try and be bought away. Disney is here to stay, and it would tarnish the memory of Walt. Walt wants Disney to be Disney, not something else.
And it seems like this move was done in an attempt to restore confidence and to ward off any potential hostile takeovers. So
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. I think that we're not going to see Bob Iger turn around and sell it after he just spent a huge part of his professional lifetime building it up for the future. So on board with all of you when it comes to that. And you let us know. You believe any of these rumors? You think that a company might swoop in and try and buy Disney? You think there might be a hostile takeover on the horizon? You let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. You stick around. There's a lot more Kingdom Report Live for you next. Remember those carefree days of childhood where the magic still existed? When you didn't feel guilty about eating mountains of cereal with, we'll just say, questionable nutrition? Well, now you can have your cereal and you can eat it too. Because Magic Spoon has re-engineered that same great taste with grown-up ingredients for an absolutely game-changing Cereal 2.0. I adore cereal. I treasure cereal. It's one of my favorite things to eat, but I just can't justify eating mounds of sugar in every bowl. I don't need to worry about that with Magic Spoon, because it's high protein, low carb, and 0 grams of sugar in each serving. I know, it's hard to believe, but it also comes in 6 delicious flavors: frosted, fruity, cocoa, cinnamon, blueberry, and peanut butter. Plus, they've got limited edition flavors released throughout the year, like gingerbread or peaches and cream. So taste that magic of childhood all over again and get yourself some Magic Spoon cereal. Plus, take $5 off your order at checkout. All you got to do is insert the promo code Kingdom Team. That's right, Kingdom Team at checkout will get you $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com. That's magicspoon.com. Promo code Kingdom Team. It's time for the Disney list. Taking a look at some of the best and worst from across the Walt Disney Company this week. The Disney list is all about what does returning CEO Bob Iger need to make a priority to restore the magic for you. Here with me today to talk about it, theme park analyst Tyler Crouch, travel agent Katrina Manzone, Kingdom Report reporter Garrett Hassel. It's great to have you all with us in this very important conversation. We'll start with Tyler. Share with us what you think Iger's priorities need to be to restore the magic, at least for you.
Well, I think the number one thing that needs to be just worked on is just the way that the cast members are treated. I mean, I think that you've not only got the frontline cast members, but you've also got the people that work on all the entertainment as well, who are making movies or television shows or what have you. And I think that everybody feels mistreated on a serious level. I think that, and it's not, like I said, it seems like it comes from all throughout the company. So I think the number one thing that Iger needs to do is start respecting everybody who works for that company, whether it be the custodian on Main Street or the producer and directors of all their giant Marvel movies. I think these people need to feel respected, and they will be able to create. They'll be able to, bring this magic that we've all been missing for so long. And it's not just at the theme parks. It's also with the movies, where I think there was a while here where people felt like they couldn't even be their true creative self. They had to kind of stick to this mold of what was beginning to be the way that Chapek wanted things, the way that this board wanted things. But I think we've already seen, that we're getting back to more control in the hands of these creative people, more control in the hands of the cast members who are on the front line. And that goes directly into my second thing that I think needs to happen, is that the public perception needs to change. And I think one of the main ways you can have the public perception of Disney change is by giving respect to these cast members, and they will want to work harder for you. They will want to, show the love that I think we've all kind of been missing a little bit here and there, because they've been, and I'm not even saying it's their fault or anything. A lot of people have to work doubles at the parks and things like that. It's a tough time right now. And they're not always treated fairly. So, it's hard to put your best foot forward when you're not feeling respected, when you're not treated fairly. So I think those are kind of the two main things for me, is bring respect back to all the people who are doing your work for you. And then I think that goes a long way to help us all feel like we're back to the Disney that we all know and love. We're not, in the Bob paycheck era. We're not trying to just, every single time we go to Disney, we're just like, oh my God, it cost me like $500 to go to Disneyland today, just for like one person, like, because it can cost that much at this point. And yeah, it is a premium product. Don't get me wrong, but the premium level has been wavering since COVID, and well, even since kind of before then. But we can't just keep blaming COVID. Is not such a drastic thing anymore. We can't just keep on using COVID as an excuse to not deliver how we used to. So those are my two things.
Very good.
Yeah, I think that the magic needs to come back.
Future CEO, right
Future
here.
CEO, you hear him.
That's
Magic,
me.
a little spark.
Significant inroads.
You got my vote.
Absolutely.
I got a phone call with Iger after this.
And you have
we'll
Garrett's
see how
vote.
things go.
So makes a big difference, no doubt.
Yes, yeah.
When you are supported and endorsed by Garrett Hassel, the Golden Goose, you, sir, are on your way.
It's true.
Oh.
Takes one guy with wings to know
Just
another
make
guy
sure-
with wings.
Just make sure when you get to the top, you don't forget the little people around you, like
Be humble.
your fiance and your two bros over here.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Be like the first lady CEO.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yes. Doing all kinds of hospitable work and charitable
right.
things.
The
that
first-
would be wonderful.
The first executive lady.
That's right. And Garrett, let's throw it on out to you. Priorities that Bob Iger should focus on to restore the magic for you.
So I think Chapek alienated not only the cast members but also the guests with these price hikes and all that. But to bring some sort of normalcy back, I think either eliminating or restructuring Genie Plus is going to be major, because it's more confusing now than ever before to go to a Disney park. When I have friends asking like, "Oh, what should I do there?" and I'm like, "Oh, you should do X, Y, and Z," and they're like, "Should I do this Genie Plus thing? I've heard things about it." I'm like, "No, just don't even bother with it. It will tell you to at 4 p.m. line up at Casey's Corner and get corn dogs as an attraction piece." Genie Plus has made things more painstaking and miserable, especially if you're a first-time park goer. It almost makes it so that you never want to come back. More people now are like, "We had such a rough time at Disney. I want to go to Universal instead, where it's easy. I don't have to worry about reservations," which the reservation system I think can be kept, but I think it needs to be morphed a little bit. But Genie Plus is the prime suspect in something that needs to go away, in my opinion. But if they can't completely eliminate it, then changing it around. Also, the Lightning Lane, I think FastPass just had a more, you know, inclusive and welcoming name to it as opposed to Lightning Lane. It sounds like something you hear at Six Flags. But I think the second thing is similar to Tyler is you need to give power back to the creative people, because without creativity, without imagination, Disney is nothing. Without imagination, Fantasmic is just nothing at all. It's all like the move of the Imagineers going from California to Florida, I think was a bad move. I think keep it out there, even if prices are higher. A creative person doesn't want to be told like, hey, you have to do this, this, and this in this framework with this amount of budget, and you can't change anything. We have to actually need you to shorten it back. Creative people need room to run, fly, and be what they want to be. Like Walt loved the Imagineers. Same with, Michael Eisner and Bob Iger. Apparently, Chapek never even went down to the Imagineering building at all to even say hi. So giving power back to the Imagineers who create the attractions and the experiences that we as guests enjoy is crucial, because when the environments are immersive and creative, the cast members operating them will be like, oh man, this is so amazing to see. And I think it just brings harmonious. You've got to touch on creativity, and you've got to make sure you don't alienate the guests. Prices are going to always go up. Like that's just how sort of the world works. But I think changing things that make you pay more money and you get less out of it will make things a lot better as a visitor. So yeah, Genie Plus got to go, and Imagineers need some TLC, because we need something more than Galaxy's Edge. We need what was promised rather than what was given.
Tell me about it.
Don't even.
It's the truest thing you ever said.
I knew I would get the future CEO.
Why did you say the trigger word?
Yeah.
Wade
Trigger
loves
word.
it. Wade, don't even.
Yeah, you are lighting a fire, my friend. You know what you're doing.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to create controversy on our show.
We try our best never to go near that land in any sort of language.
Nope.
Because we know what it does to Tyler.
Yeah, I will say that Magic Band Plus stuff looks pretty cool. I want to try that stuff.
Well, hear that, everybody? On the record.
I just want to say maybe that's the type of thing that Galaxy's Edge
cool.
should have started with. So
There it is. Hey, Katrina, same for you. Priorities Iger should focus on, restoring the magic. What do you want to see?
Like these two have touched on it. What I was aiming towards too is just the Genie Plus mainly too is just so dumb on how they structured it. And I feel like, yes, I know that they want to try to earn money and they were trying to reduce the capacity, but then they didn't. And then so now it's just not even fun, because like the normal queue gets backed up, the regular, like the lightning lane, it's not so lightning. Like, have you seen Soarin' over the world in DCA? Like that baby goes all the way back to Carthage. Like it is just all the way back. I'm like, what's this line for? And they're like, yeah, Soarin'. I was like, oof, it's not worth it. So I think they need to kind of switch it up that way, and then try to, maybe bring, I don't know why they got rid of the Max Pass to begin with, but I feel like I don't know if they lost money or they were just trying to make it similar to Disney World, so they didn't have to like instruct so many times on what to do and how to do it, and then just create like one system for it. But bring something like that back, because it was easy. Mm-hmm. It was not complicated. And then annual pass holders were able to just buy it outright for the whole year. And if you didn't use it, you didn't use it. They gained money from it. There was times like Tyler and I bought it outright for the year. We used it like 5 times. You know what I mean? Like we didn't use it that much. And it was like first come, first serve. You get to the park. I mean, the Genie Plus is the same. If you get to the park at Disneyland, you get, more choices versus, getting there at like 5 p.m. and then you just get what's left over. But, and giving respect to the cast members, like when you create such a hostile environment in a way, because you're forcing cast members to work doubles and then they have to work doubles because they don't want to let their team down. Mm-hmm. And then they're overrun, but then also actually pay them an actual living wage. So when you do have a hiring session and you try to get more people involved, people would actually want to work. You know what I mean? Like right now you're working like below minimum wage and like below living wage, where why would you want to work at Disney when you have to work like, 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, and then, you can get fired for like the smallest little thing for blinking an eye. And then you're like, oh, so I was just expendable to you. Okay, cool. But then my last one is, can we stop remaking movies? Please. Like, that is like my one wish. Like, let's stop. What?
I need 2 movies to be remade, and then we can stop the remakes. I need Treasure Planet, and I need Atlantis: The Lost Empire to be remade.
Nobody needs that.
It's
You
not.
and that pink booger guy,
No.
you're way into that, dude.
No, I need those to get a proper.
What is it? Alan Tudyk's going to be like the
proper
pink blob.
treatment,
He's going to
and
be in
then
it.
Cool. I just need Treasure Planet. Just give me Treasure Planet.
It's
I
going to
won't
be
even- I
bad.
don't care less about
That's
that.
the thing. Like, they're
No,
not
it's
even going to
not.
be
It's gonna be
creative
great.
about it.
It's gonna be great. Just let it happen.
Just let it be a show. Like, just go to Disney Plus, make it a fun animated
okay,
show.
I'd be cool with a show.
A series, yeah.
You know,
Okay, I'm
get
cool
it like
with
a
that.
nice little series. Like, Aladdin had it for a blip in time. Little Mermaid had it for a blip in time.
Yeah,
Let
they
it just be a blip in time, and then that is it. I don't need a garbage remake live action when it's not even live action, because half of it is digital. More than that, it's like Lion King. Come on, people. It was 99% fake.
Yeah, it was,
I miss that trend, actually. I want there to be like, there should be like a 20-minute like Moana show where she goes on different adventures and stuff.
It'd be
and it's
great.
like,
Little Pua walking
I miss
around.
that,
Come
like
on.
the Hercules show, Aladdin show, like Little Mermaid. All these shows were great. Like, they need to make the more television series like that.
The
It's
old
easy.
school
Well, it's not
90s,
easy, but-
early 2000s Disney afternoon.
yep.
It was great.
Oh yeah.
All those little spin-off series.
They're doing like little shorts and they're like 5 minutes long, like the little Zootopia thing, and it's just I don't even watch it. Every time I like try to like do it, I'm like, do I just want to keep pressing play for like 5 minutes of Zootopia? Like, not really. I'd rather watch
No,
like
you
a
just
series.
you watch Bluey instead.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
Bluey
Bluey. I
Yeah,
love
Bluey,
her.
let's
Get it, girl.
go. Bluey.
I watched that, and I watched it with Ariel, and we are mesmerized by that. And we're like, man, this is the best show in the world.
Sometimes
It's true.
I'll just
It
watch
is
the
fantastic.
Yeah,
Everybody loves Bluey.
intro.
it's true.
Yeah.
Proof.
Mom,
Proof right there. Look at that. Yeah.
That's why we even
bring him to the park.
Yeah, these are Bluey hats today. I don't know if you saw these Bluey hats.
Go Bluey, go. In support of Bluey. We also asked you over on the Kingdom Report community page specifically what priorities should be in front of Bob Iger to restore magic. And here's what you had to say. First up, Ben says, give the staff the respect and admiration they deserve in whatever ways possible. Make sure they know they are appreciated and that they will be compensated fairly for their efforts. They are the magic. Number 2, hire enough staff back to get all of the rides and attractions operating smoothly without breaking down so frequently. It's one thing to raise prices, it's another to raise prices and let everything fall apart around you while doing so. And number 3, create some sort of mutually beneficial idea in which families who have been wanting to go but can't can now afford to do so, and Disney can benefit as well. They likely can't reverse any price hikes. Once those are in place, they just can't take them away, but they can find a way to increase growth and revenue while still taking care of customers. It won't be easy, but it's possible. They've done it before. They can do it again. Michael says, has to start in restoring morale and addressing issues facing the cast members. They are what makes it happen. So they have to address that first. All this and get of reservations probably won't happen because it helps Disney control what is needed to help bring the best experience out of a park visit. I personally hated it when the parks were so packed you couldn't even walk anymore, and queue lines were in the walkways. It happened a few times, but not as much as there was prior to reservations. Heather says, bring back the things they made it that made it magical, rather, like the Magical Express bus. And Mitchell says, simple. No more cutting costs or layoffs. Bring back the entertainment lost in the last few years. Bring back FastPass and get rid of reservations. Basically returning the parks to the way they were before 2020. Also, no more getting involved in politics or disputes with other companies. They need to stay in the business of entertaining people and nothing else. And Oh Please says, do whatever it takes to hire more cast members, repair and maintain the attractions, get rid of reservations completely, eliminate Genie Plus, and return to MaxPass. A lot of things echoed by all accounts of what we have said here as well. Those are the comments that you shared with us, and now we are interested in all of your thoughts. Leave it in the section down below. All right, my friends, you stick around. We wrap things up next.
Looking for some digital magic to help you through your week? The Kingdom Report is here for you, covering the latest Disneyland and Disney World news, experiences, and events. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Kingdom Report Live so you never miss an update. And drop a subscribe on the Kingdom Report YouTube channel for new videos every week. Don't miss out. Join this growing community of theme park fans as we aim to connect you to more of what makes you happy. For more information, visit KingdomReportLive.com. And now, back to the magic.
Well, it has been another eventful Kingdom Report Live, but we're at an end once more, and we want to thank you for being a part of our weekend and for allowing us to be a part of yours. Happy Thanksgiving week and a wonderful holiday weekend to all of you here in the States. To everybody else, it was a pleasure as always, and you can find us right back here next week. Before we get out of here, though, we want to make sure you're rewarded. Get your very own Kingdom Report mug by leaving the phrase that pays in the comments section beneath this video on our YouTube page. Directly following the live broadcast, you are able to leave comments underneath the video. And the phrase that pays this week, Festival of Holidays. Festival of Holidays is the phrase that pays. If you are the winner, we will reach out to you and let you know and get the mug on the way. You have between now and Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time in which to enter. And remember, the legacy of Walt Disney, it lives on because of people like you and me. We'll see you next week for an all-new Kingdom Report Live.